Fawn
and Matt. We're an interracial couple with 2 kids wanting to do something that highlights the power of friendship and what it means to be in the company of true friends. We're going to move our society away and out of the loneliness epidemic and into a friendlier, happier world. Welcome to our friendly world. Better, stronger, together.
Welcome back to our friendly world, everybody.
Hello.
Oftentimes when we meet people we don't know or people we do know, there could be something on their face or their gestures or their body language that will turn us off.
Oh dear.
And then from there, so many things can happen. We take things personally, which in some cases, they're absolutely personal targets headed at us, right? But most of the time, I think people are in pain. It could be physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain that can result in the furling of eyebrows, or maybe like a snarl, or being short with someone, not having enough patience, the tone of voice, all of that comes from pain. I mean, if you think about it, when people are so happy, let's say someone doesn't have any physical pain and they won the lottery.
Woot woot.
Chances are they still going to be like hateful towards people that are in front of them? They'll be like smiling and looking like they just jumped off of, like, parachuted out of an airplane for fun. You know what I'm saying? Right? They're not going to have an evil glare or talk to you about the mishaps of the world because their world is so happy and carefree. But when you add pain in there, sometimes the pain can be a tiny little thorn. Tiny. You don't even know it's there, like a little paper cut or what do you call it? Like a splinter is what I was thinking of. You don't know. And I think these days especially, there's so much of it. There's so many splinters and boulders and huge things. So we have to keep in mind when it comes to friendship, especially relationships in general, that most people are in pain and not to take things personally. And yeah, that comes up because I've been in pain for a few weeks now. So it's like, like I've been short with you this morning. And then if I'm not short, then nothing looks good to me. The world doesn't look good to you. You just feel like everything is bad because you can't see your way out of your situation.
Oftentimes that is true.
Even if you have wonderful things happening at the same time, which I do. Absolutely. It's weird because wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things happened. And then I got a bunch of physical mishaps. So it's wild. How do you maneuver life and keep a positive attitude? How can you still be with friends or make friends or present some grace to the world, even if you're not feeling graceful yourself? So for example, I was meeting with Lisa from the VoiceOver Network. I was going through auditions and then I'm like, oh no, it's 9:00. I have a meeting with Lisa. And then technology got screwed up and then the meeting got pushed until 10:00. And I was still sitting in my booth. I threw out my back, you guys, like a couple weeks ago. And so sitting in a vocal booth, I tend to be in there for 4 hours at a stretch. And so I had to sit and not acknowledge the pain, right?
Right.
And so Lisa comes on. Lisa's so beautiful and so sweet and lovely, positive. But as soon as she came on, I knew I had to explain to her because one, I didn't want her to think that because the meeting was running late that I was upset. So I immediately just became even more vulnerable. And I said, look, if you sense anything from me, it's not because of the meeting. I've been in a lot of pain. My back is out. And then I immediately started crying.
Which is what you do sometimes.
I do it when someone offers genuine sympathy, like, and compassion. All of a sudden, it just makes me cry.
Right. And Ricky Gervais went through the exact same thing in his TV series about how he was falling down when his wife passes away. He's like, I can deal with people being mean to me. It's when they're nice to me, I can't take it.
Right. I was going to say, do you think that's why people avoid nice situations when they're in pain? Because they want to pull it together and not seem like a sloppy mess crying.
Right.
Which to me, the other way is a sloppy mess. When you feel like you have it pulled together, but people sense something is wrong and it has this crazy vibe about you. I feel like that's the sloppy right there.
Well, people don't like being vulnerable. Being vulnerable makes people uncomfortable, and it makes everybody uncomfortable. But guess what? The more vulnerable you are, the more you give an opportunity for the world to delight you.
I also think of it as when you're vulnerable, you pose no threat. So when you're strong and have a wall up like that to pull everything together, that I think produces an energy where someone who's in front of you, it could seem like conflict for them, like combat. They feel like something is wrong, it's me. They're obviously not liking me, or they're out to get me, or do you know what I'm saying? It comes off as, what's the word I'm looking for? It comes off as combative.
Confrontational is where I was going to go, but yes.
Confrontational, yeah. So when I'm vulnerable, I'm just letting you know, hey, I mean no harm. Absolutely not. I'm experiencing this. So they know that it's not them.
Right.
And I know I'm strong enough, despite the blown out back, I know I'm strong enough to handle if someone chooses to look at me like I'm lesser than them. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that that's what happened with Lisa, but I have had some friends who will take vulnerability as weakness. And that lets me know that's not a friend in my circle.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And that's why I can appreciate in moments, not to diminish what you're going through at all, but I can it's like self-deprecating. When people have self-deprecating humor, and
That's
it's
different.
genuine. It's always about authenticity, but genuine, and they're not trying to boast or brag or any of the rest of that kind of stuff. Now, at the Oscars, oh, that feels saccharine. That doesn't feel good.
Matt, I disagree.
Okay.
Respectfully. What did you call it?
Self-deprecating?
Yes, you called it self-deprecating humor. I do not like that. Not one iota. Not 1 ounce, not 1 milliliter, not one little tiny nano fraction. No. Self-deprecating humor is so different than being vulnerable.
You're right. It is.
Self-deprecating humor is, you know what? I'm going to say messed up things about myself before you do. I'm just going to catch you before you tell me, obviously,
and
these things about myself.
For me, it's practice on some level. It can be practice on
For
some
what?
level. Just for when somebody does choose to light you up. It helps me explore my inner Popeye, frankly.
I don't like ever putting yourself down.
Okay.
You are a magnificent, everyone is a magnificent light being. And I think it's a disgrace to put yourself down. I do.
Ouch.
What?
Ouch. Ooh, sting.
What do you mean?
Oh,
I'm not stinging.
feeling. You said I'm a disgrace.
I said it is a disgrace. You see? You see how you take things personally?
Ooh, that's a deep cut.
Stop it. I said it is a disgrace if you constantly put yourself, or if you
Constantly, yes.
No. Forget constant. That's not what I wanted to say. If you use deprecating language, self-deprecating language, or any kind of deprecating language, I think that is a disgrace. Not that you're a disgrace. I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying you are a child of God. You are people, everyone, all animals, plants are sentient beings. Okay?
Okay.
I believe everyone is of the divine. And for you to destroy yourself, and what's the word when you, I was trying to think of the word this morning for a future show coming up. What's the word when you take someone's name through the mud? Denigrate?
Muckraking? Denigrate?
Denigrate? Yeah, you should never do that. I think that is a disgrace. Not you.
See, much like my concept of an onion, where my true self is all the way down deep in the middle of this onion, and there's
Why are you
25
making that gesture? That was a
kajillion layers. Oh, I'm feeling very gesticular today.
That you should be careful. Do you do that on Zoom meetings? Oh my God, honey.
No, but I do play with my Rubik's Cube, and I have to wonder what people see and don't see.
Oh.
But anyways,
I'm sorry, but Matt just stuck his. He was making like a gesture where you put your palms together, like very spiritual, and then he stuck his. Never mind. Okay, go ahead. What is that?
You'd have to be here, folks. Anyways, no, it's about way on the outer limits of the onion. It's not about the core. It's not about my core beliefs, but it's about poking fun at something foolish. Like, let's say you like a sports team who doesn't do very well. Or it's like when you put a wager on a team and you are unsuccessful frequently. It's mocking that kind of stuff. It's not mocking my inherent skill to do such and such, or, some physical attribute I have. It's not about mocking that. Mm-hmm. It's about mocking things that are a heck of a lot less important.
But what do you say, Matt? All the time. It's a slippery slope.
It is a slippery slope, but there are certain lines you can hold.
Okay. Well, getting back to pain.
Yes. Ooh, yes.
So how do we, knowing that most of people are in pain and we're in pain, mm-hmm. I think the key to having a friendlier society and knowing this information about pain is that you need to look at things in an unattached way. Nothing is about you. So I say this so many times, you guys, but I think one of the keys to being a friendly person is to look at whoever you're in front of, someone you're married to, your kids, your best friend, your not friend, the one you want to be friends with.
Your not friend.
Whatever. People in general that are in front of you, look at them like you're watching a movie, but not the way Matt watches a movie. Matt will analyze every little detail and tell you what's going to happen next. So no. The way I would watch a movie is I just go blank. I'm just like, what is this movie portraying? What are they saying? It's just a movie. I'm not going to figure it out. Just mm-hmm. watch it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying watch it like be careful. I'm saying just view it. Mm-hmm. And I think that when you do that, it creates a sense of no obligation, a sense of loving detachment. So you are able to see signs you never saw before because you're not so emotionally wrapped up in it. So if you step back a little bit and watch it like it's a movie and not take everything personally, you're able to see a gesture, a twinge that oh, that twinge is from a pain. The way they're walking or the way they're sitting, maybe their back is out, or maybe they're experiencing some major stress. Did this person have this before I came along? For example, when I was a kid, back in the day, you pick up the phone, you have no idea who's on the other end, right?
Right.
And so one day I was so mad. And I picked up the phone and I said, hello.
Very nice.
And it just so happened it was a friend of mine who was calling. So she just heard that hello and immediately there was a fight.
Click.
No, she didn't hang up. But she's like, what is your problem? Ooh. And then we got into a fight. And then I brought it back around and said, I'm so sorry. I picked up the phone in an angry way. I didn't know it was you calling. You guys, this was back in the day with it was actually a rotary phone on top of that.
The dark ages.
The dark ages. But like there was no caller ID. It was a landline. No idea who was calling. Dear. Anyway, what I'm saying is it's kind of like that you may walk into a room or you may suddenly see this person. We think everything starts with us, right?
Right.
And it doesn't. The person could have walked into the room with that. Mm-hmm. So if you watch a movie, you are viewing a movie, you see, oh, this person is walking in this way. You're able to see more beauty also in that way. So anyway, that's my tip.
Gotcha. Yeah. Honestly, for me now, in most situations, I double down on vulnerability if I see somebody who's not quote unquote right. if somebody's upset, if somebody is, even if they're upset at me, I'll still ask, what's going on? Are you okay?
But sometimes when you do that, it puts them
I
more
know.
on the edge.
I know.
Because they get all offended.
And sometimes it's like, it feels like you go beyond being a good host. I always talk about being a good host, and you go to being a parent, even if the person is way older than you or ... right? This is somebody you've known your whole life. It does, on some level, sometimes it doesn't matter. And for me also, a good way to quote unquote practice this, because a lot of it boils down to paying attention, but I always call out on like a call or in person if somebody sounds a little different, like maybe they have a cold or something. I always call it out. And just this week, one of my coworkers has allergies, and that's why he was stuffed up. And it's not a big deal, but it gets us into a rhythm and a habit of, I hear something, I see something that looks different, and I call it out, and we talk about it. And sometimes it's something trivial, but then we're building our vocabulary with one another, and we're making ourselves more comfortable with being vulnerable and having conversations about things that don't necessarily relate to anything.
It's called caring.
What? No, it's practice. It's like, I don't have dolls, I have action figures. Come on.
But yeah, like you can see someone and you look at their lips, and their lips are incredibly like chapped.
Oh.
And that's a sign of dehydration.
Right.
So I'm like, ooh, you feel like having a drink? Let's go get a drink. If they're at our house, I may like
force them.
Well, I always force people to eat and drink at our house because that's my culture. We always take care of people,
right?
Like that. So yeah, so you don't say, "Are you okay?" Let's just like, if you notice certain things, lead it towards healing in some way. If it's emotional, you maybe sense someone is going through stress, then ease up on the work situation. Like, be more gentle.
Right.
If you see that their lips are parched, let's talk about, hey, let's go out for a drink. If you're feeling the stress, then yeah, again, ease up on the situation. Make things calm. Maybe if there's music around, maybe you could fix the music so it's calmer or quiet if that's what they like. Find out what they like. Anyway, so tips and tricks on just remembering the pain in our society, the pain in people, and then everyone is having it. Everybody. I mean, everybody. The squirrels, everybody. The squirrels are handling it better, I think. It seems like.
Well, spring is coming, or spring is here.
Even during the winter, those cute little thighs of theirs. I can't stand it. I mean, I can't stand the cuteness. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, oh, so cute. All right. If you need us, that's it for today, I think. If you need us, you know how to get a hold of us. Reach out to us. Thank you. Have a beautiful every day. Talk to you later.
Be well.